Watch this video of Donald Trump drooling on stage, wiping it off of his face during an economic speech in Savannah, Georgia today. Take a look.
But they were forced to be out because in this country.
It is absolutely disgusting. Watch it one more time. He very clearly wipes it off of his mouth. And the thing is, this is a repeated pattern with Donald Trump getting on camera or going up on stage and drooling all over. It's honestly elder abuse. Remember when he posted this video a few months back?
And we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024. On November 5th, 2024.
I should have put a trigger warning before that. That is absolutely disgusting, but that is only the tip of the iceberg with Donald Trump and his rallies over the past 24 hours. Now, I have some stuff to break down from his Savannah, Georgia speech today, but first, I want to show you this clip from his Pennsylvania rally last night that many people missed, but it is so incredibly scary, and it's not even what Trump says that is terrifying. It is, but the crowd's reaction makes it even worse. They are chanting, "Send them back," towards illegal Haitian migrants. Take a listen.
With left-wing nonprofits. The fact is, and I'll say it now, you have to get them the hell out. You have to get them out. I'm sorry. To get them out. Can't have it. Can't have it. They've destroyed it.
I mean, this is terrifying stuff. This is like Germany in 1945. Look at these signs. Mass deportation now at the RNC. Meanwhile, at the DNC, we had signs that said USA, America. I am honestly struggling to wrap my head around this entire clip. What Donald Trump is saying is inherently authoritarian and false. I mean, these migrants are here legally, and this idea that Springfield, Ohio has been ruined by migrants is not true. It is a town that has been dying since the 60s. It lost nearly half of its population, which is apparent if you go on Google Street View or you look up pictures, and these migrants have actually revitalized the place. But between Donald Trump's insane rhetoric, the crowd chanting, "Send them back," this kid with the upside down sign that may or may not be doing a Nazi salute right after, if you look at it one more time, I'll just keep replaying it because I can't tell. I mean, this entire clip is absurd, but the entire thing is based off of a lie. This article reads, at a campaign stop in North Carolina recently, Vance repeatedly portrayed the Haitian migrants not only in Springfield, but thousands across the nation as being brought into the U.S. illegally by VP Harris. He said they will be deported. Discussing the pathways under which many migrants moved here, Vance claimed Harris used two programs to do this. But the TPS is a program that began in 1990 and was extended to Haitian migrants in 2010, and then the protections were extended by the Department of Homeland Security under the Trump administration. So these migrants didn't just arrive legally. They arrived while Trump was the president, and Trump's government explicitly gave them legal status. And now Trump is trying to deport them en masse after these immigrants have built families. And of course, we have Elon Musk boosting this to hundreds of millions of people. He is the largest account on Twitter, and he boosts this essentially white nationalist rhetoric from Trump. I'm not even going to play it. I'm going to read it to you guys. He said, "It takes centuries to build the unique character of each state, but reckless migration policy can change it quickly and permanently, just like we've seen in London and Paris and Minneapolis." Now, this is genuinely great replacement rhetoric. The great replacement is a conspiracy theory that white people are being intentionally replaced by people of color or immigrants across the nation, when that is not true, completely unsubstantiated, and Trump is using it to sow fear across America. And the thing that conspiracy theorists do is take something with a kernel of truth and build a conspiracy theory tower on top of it. So it is true that white people will become the minority in America by 2050, 2060. It's no big deal, but there's no reason to draw these wild conspiracy theories about Democrats intentionally replacing the white population. Some people think Jewish Americans are intentionally replacing the white population. I don't even know what conspiracy theories they are drawing at this point, but they are taking this kernel of truth and blowing it out of proportion. Who cares if white Christian people aren't the center of America forever? I can't wait until the day we have an atheist president. I can't wait until VP Harris becomes the first black woman president. It will feel great. But before Donald Trump's rally yesterday, he also was giving cash to voters straight up.
Here, it's going to go down a little bit.
He basically just threw it. He just threw the money at her and said, "Your money's going to go down a little bit. It'll go down more if you get me in the White House." And this brings us on to Donald Trump's rally today. He started off by talking about AI.
No, to do artificial, which is a big hot thing that's happening now. They say it's the next big wave. I don't know. It comes with risk, but it's the next hot thing. But it needs massive amounts of electricity. So if you took all of the electricity in our country right now, which isn't enough, because in California with Governor Newsom, you have blackouts and brownouts.
Okay, a few things. Number one, California is carrying the entire American economy on its back. I mean, California would be one of the largest economies in the world if it were its own country. But Donald Trump also says that AI is the new hot thing, but it carries a lot of risk, which is funny because that comes in stark contrast to the way that he talks about crypto. Now that Donald Trump has opened this new crypto financial organization with his sons, Beavis and Butthead, or Don Jr. and Eric, he is pushing crypto so hard. He's releasing his own NFT. He's probably going to release a new crypto coin soon, and this new bank that he's opening is off the back of him wanting to turn America into the crypto capital of the world. So he never talks about the risks of crypto, which there are many. Crypto is inherently super, super risky, but all of a sudden he's worried about AI. He is a total hypocrite, and then of course he calls Governor Newsom Gavin Newscom. It's so childish. This next clip of Trump perfectly fits into the theme of this video because I want you to listen closely to the countries that he lists off, saying that immigrants are coming from these countries committing crimes, but he conveniently leaves out any European countries, actually any white majority countries at all. He is only naming countries that have brown people coming over.
Prisons and jails, mental institutions and insane asylums, and criminal cells all over the world, not just from South America, but many of them are terrorists, and they are coming from Africa, they're coming from the Congo, large numbers from the Congo, they're coming from the Middle East, they're coming from Asia, they're coming from South America, but not only South America, they're coming from all over the world.
He conveniently never mentions any white countries. And here's Trump almost with a moment of self-awareness talking about the debate and how people think he fell into a trap, which he absolutely did. VP Harris multiple times laid a perfect trap regarding crowd sizes, for example, and Trump perfectly walked into it. But listen.
I then refute them. Marjorie, if I say that's not true, and just give a few seconds and people understand it, they say he fell into a trap. No, if they say bad about me, I got to refute it. I do it quickly, but I refute it. As soon as I refute, oh, he fell into a trap. Why would I let her say something bad about me and let it stand out there? If I don't refute it, people are going to think it's true.
The point of a debate is that you pick and choose what to respond to in your limited amount of time. Almost like a real world situation. If you're with Vladimir Putin, you can't just respond to every little thing. You have to be concise. You have to be powerful with what you say, and you can't be baited by crowd sizes. So Trump should have responded to the most important things like immigration or the economy or abortion, but instead he took the bait and talked about crowd sizes, and it revealed what is truly most important to Trump, his ego, himself. And the thing is, if Trump were in a real world situation with Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un, he could easily get baited on the issues that aren't even important. I really quickly want to show you this breakdown of the Pennsylvania voting, early voting. We're very early in, but nearly 1.4 million mail and absentee ballots have been requested in Pennsylvania. Here's how they break down. 841,000 of them, or 62.9% of them, are Democratic. 358,000 of them are Republican, that's 26%, and then other 141,967 are coming from households that are not registered with either party. And I do want to say, we still have to put in the work. We still have to go vote and mobilize. Mail-in ballots tend to skew blue either way. Democrats tend to vote early, tend to vote often. So this doesn't mean we are going to sweep Pennsylvania. This doesn't mean that VP Harris is going to win by double the margin. This means that Democrats are energized right now. That is all that we can take from that. Here's Trump using his classic fear-mongering tactics, talking about factories and immigrants walking down the streets with machine guns.
And by the way, you know, this is a speech on economic development, but this is a big part of economic development. We can't have factories being built where you have criminals walking down the street with the worst weapons that you've ever seen. with machine guns and everything else. We can't have it.
The factories being built with immigrants with machine guns walking down the street. Is this right next to where we do transgender operations on illegal aliens in prison? Also right next to where the Haitian cat eating factory is. All Donald Trump does is sow fear. And he made a funny point right here. He said himself, this is supposed to be an economic speech, but I'm making it about immigration.
Speech on economic development, but this is a big part of economic.
And throughout this economic speech, he has only talked about immigration. He talked about his crowd sizes and his debate with VP Harris. He has drooled on himself and wiped it off. I mean, some economic speech from our former president running for re-election. It is embarrassing, and I'm almost embarrassed that this dude is so close to VP Harris in the polls. Trump then uses his economic speech to talk about VP Harris working at McDonald's.
Remember one other thing, and I think it's terrible. She lied about McDonald's. She said I was a worker in McDonald's. And I stood over the French fries. I'm going to a McDonald's over the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to stand over the French fries because I want to see what her job really wasn't like, because she never. I stood over the French fries, and that was tough. It was hot outside, and it was hot over. She never worked there. It was a lie.
Is it just me, or is Trump both demeaning VP Harris and people who work at McDonald's at the same time? So Trump goes to an economic speech. He talks about the state of the economy. How is he going to help middle and lower income Americans? People like you and I, not his rich donor friends. And instead, he begins talking about people who work at McDonald's not being very strong. I'm going to play the end of this clip because it sounds like he's sort of deriding her for working at McDonald's.
Stand over the French fries because I want to see what her job really wasn't like, because she never. I stood over the French fries, and that was tough. It was hot.
Quote, I stood over the French fries and that was tough. He is essentially saying that people who work in the service industry, someone who works either as a waiter, a waitress, someone who works at McDonald's or a fast food chain, that their jobs aren't hard. Donald Trump undermines people's lived experiences at every step of the way because he doesn't know what it's like to be a minority in America, somebody who wasn't handed everything he wants in life. He derides VP Harris's work, saying that she slept her way to the top. He derides Jewish Americans. He says they need their mental health checked or their head checked, whatever he says. He derides Black Americans. His entire life, he has denied Black Americans equal opportunity. Women. I don't even have to explain how badly he screwed over women in America. I mean, 2 women in Georgia died this month because they didn't have access to health care due to Trump's Supreme Court justices. The infant mortality rate in Texas is directly rising. Here's a clip of Donald Trump just using vacuous talking points about wages, reading off the teleprompter.
Your wages will rise, your costs will fall, your job opportunities will grow, because we will conduct the largest deportation operation, sadly, in America.
And then he goes back to immigration. And dude, this is so incredibly unhinged because not only is he sweating and drooling, but look at the way he's leaning over. I've never seen him lean over this badly. It kind of looks like his suit is too big. He's wearing a clown suit, screaming, leaning over the podium, drooling on himself. Great showing from our former president here. Here, Donald Trump talks about tariffs, which we know that he doesn't know what a tariff is.
And by the way, you know, for years they knocked the word tariff, properly used, is a beautiful word. One of the most beautiful words.
He says properly used, but he has never used the word properly once. But yeah, of course, it's a beautiful word.
I've ever heard. It's music to my ears. A lot of bad people didn't like that word, but now they're finding out I was right. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars into our treasury and use that money to benefit the American citizens, and it will not cause inflation.
Okay, Donald Trump genuinely thinks that if you put tariffs on imports, that money will be coming from other countries like China, for example, when that is not true. It increases costs for American consumers. Inherently, that is what tariffs do. Because if you're trying to disincentivize a country like China from engaging in some bad action, you want to make sure their economy suffers. So you raise the prices for Americans by placing tariffs on these imports, then goods become more expensive for Americans on a day-to-day basis, and then China is hurt. That disincentivizes China from doing stuff, and it disincentivizes American citizens from buying these expensive goods. That is where the surplus of funds comes from, not from China. It's like when Donald Trump said that Mexico will pay for the wall. He has an infantile understanding of the world around him, and I'll leave you with that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, drop a blue heart, hit that subscribe button, have a great rest of your day, and peace out.